Greetings. I'm Susan L. Allen, National President and CEO of the U.S. Pan-Asian American Chamber of Commerce Education Foundation, or USPAACC. We are proudly recognized as the most established and effective nonprofit representing Pan-Asian Americans, or AAPIs, in business, connecting them to business and professional opportunities in corporations, governments, nonprofits, and with each other. Today, I'll share my thoughts on the state of Asian American business, summarize the obstacles we have overcome, the intractable challenges we still face, and highlight our success stories as we look forward to a brighter future. As 2022 begins, the state of Asian American business is good, but it will be much better. They're more confident and growing stronger each day. Almost 24 months ago, the pandemic caused a global breakdown of services, disrupted work, interrupted our children's education, upended business, and cost lives. Yet countless business owners stood their ground, rolled up their sleeves, and kept working despite the hard choices they had to make. But most important, many more kept the flame of entrepreneurship burning bright. As you know, Asian American business are a vital part of our economy. Like many Americans, our hard work, sacrifices, commitment to innovation and excellence, and belief in the American dream played an important role in building and shaping the country. From the thousands of Chinese immigrants who worked on the Transcontinental Railroad, to the Japanese and Filipino farmers who tilled pineapple and sugarcane fields in Hawaii and the West Coast a century ago, to fighting for America's freedom during World War II, to the Indian, Korean, Vietnamese diaspora, together with the contributions of other Asian American Pacific Islander groups that continue to enrich our business culture and traditions, to creating technology companies today like Zoom, which became our lifeline and connected us to each other, plus large companies like Alorica, Instacart, and Silicon Valley startups that continue to disrupt in tech, biomedical, aerospace, and other industries that propel change in multidisciplinary sectors and our collective future. Asian American business are helping to lead the way. 1 in 10 small business in the United States is Asian American owned. In 2019, they generated $885 billion in revenue and employed 3.6 million people. Asian American business create jobs, foster innovation, and deliver essential services like healthcare workers. 8.5% or 1.4 million of them are Asian American, on whom many big communities and families depend. They have established many economic success milestones, from Silicon Valley and Wall Street to restaurants, groceries, salons, and mom and pop stores along Main Street. Asian American business are among the fastest growing segment and a vital force for our national economic growth and workforce. Then the pandemic struck, and suddenly so much changed. Many in the service industry, where Asian American companies concentrate, had to close. They endure unbelievable hardships, staggering financial losses, and so much more. Worse, language barriers and the lack of established banking relationships prevented their access to federal, state, and local assistance, such as the PPP or Paycheck Protection Program, that could have kept them above water. According to the New York Federal Reserve, small Asian American business did worse than those owned by Black and Hispanic Americans, despite going into the pandemic in a stronger financial position. In the first 4 months of 2020, 233,000 Asian American small businesses closed. In New York City, they lost revenue by 75% or more. At the end of the year, 9 out of 10 Asian American businesses lost revenue, the largest volume of loss among all racial groups, and it continued until last year. Also, Asian American businesses are well represented in the retail sector, and they depend on uninterrupted supplies of goods from overseas. But congested US ports, plus truck drivers and warehouse workers restricted to when they could work, disrupted the supply chain, increased costs, and impacted the retailers' bottom line. In Southern California, nearly 1/3 of Asian American businesses cut their operation in half in the first 4 months of 2021. However, not all faced a downturn. There are those who pivoted and succeeded or carried on with greater success. For example, USPAACC member and Northeast Chapter President Kwale owns several companies in the media space in New Jersey. After the lockdown, his cinematic wedding film and photography business dried up. He used to book 500 weddings a year, but nobody was getting married. His corporate and commercial videography clients stopped their orders, and his wife's nail salon shuttered indefinitely. So he collaborated with USPAACC to help launch our Live Talk video broadcast series, which reached 28,000 viewers at the start. His Fortune corporate clients saw it and tripled their job orders with him, and he began to offer online video services. Last year, his revenue increased over the year before by 50%. Timothy Pham is founder of Moogle, a community network platform and a B2B company that connects 150 million women around the world to each other each week. From rising stars to more seasoned corporate talents to bridge the leadership gender gap. The double feature of a B2B company and a community platform created value and her success. And of course, Eric Yuan, founder and CEO of Zoom, who built a video conferencing startup to a $69 billion enterprise in 9 years, connecting people for virtual business meetings, educational forums, online social gatherings, and a whole lot more. Folks already working remotely before the pandemic, like government contractors and those who hire IT and other professionals not required to meet in person, have done better than before the pandemic because of the increased demands for IT. The pandemic had two major negative impacts on Asian American business and the community. They faced violent, deadly, and the continued rise of anti-Asian crimes triggered by prejudice and incorrectly tying the virus to the Asian identity. Asian Americans have been blamed for it, battered, killed, lost property, and endured much more. In the 21 months since the pandemic struck in February 2020 to September 2021, over 10,800 anti-Asian incidents have been reported. That's the sobering fact. More than a third of the incidents happened in places of business. The overrepresentation of Asian workers in customer-facing service industries, the lack of access to government, corporation, and foundation support, plus anti-Asian related incidents explain why their recovery from the pandemic has been much slower. There is a silver lining. President Biden and a bipartisan US Congress signed legislation to address the wave of anti-Asian incidents, and corporations set up and took notice. We are honored and humbled that the US Small Business Administration selected USPAACC as one of 8 national Tier 1 level grant recipients in a $100 million Community Navigator pilot program. This program aligns with our 36-year track record of training, developing, and connecting Pan-Asian American and other diverse business for growth and prosperity. Together with the other grantees, we will help to reduce barriers, retool, upskill, and grow small business nationwide. In addition, President Biden's $1 trillion plan to rebuild our country's infrastructure bodes well for millions, including Asian American business. In the face of all these hardships, we saw hope, perseverance, courage, and opportunity. Just like Eric, Kwa, and Tiffany, there are many more with the heart of champions who show that with ingenuity and zeal to succeed, nothing is impossible. Today, it seems the worst of our challenges is almost behind us. Our change economy is at an inflection point. We have increased our reliance on technology. Enterprises in this niche are well positioned to thrive. There are Asian American business in information technology, biotechnology, engineering, etc. We should ensure that they have access to capital and a level playing field without stumbling blocks or barriers to entry. When executing the infrastructure investments, the government should make sure it will include accountable requirements that Asian, Black, Hispanic, and Native American business are fairly treated. The post-pandemic world will need more collaboration, and USPAACC is here to help. This year, we will build upon our many successes from the last 2 years. We will double down on our powerful advocacy efforts, such as our well-received action plan to stop anti-Asian hate. In April 2021, we introduced our action plan for an all-hands national movement to treat our community and all diverse communities with respect, dignity, and fairness as equal participants in American life. We will continue to advocate for honest dialogue, investment in education about Pan-Asian Americans, celebration of differences, erasing stereotypes, and speaking up against discrimination. Last year, we also proudly brought to our members and supporters another year packed with business development programs, opportunities, and positive results. By the numbers, our success included over 130,486 individuals who took part in our 22 programs during the year. Live talk video broadcasts, chief procurement officers and corporate forums, chief technology and chief information officers forum, online business training series with over 90,000 viewers, and 34 dynamic programs during our National Celebration Business Development Conference in June and November. Thanks to our partners in corporations, government agencies, and national nonprofits who steadfastly and generously stood and continue to stand by us. To our fantastic members and stakeholders who inspire us to do better every year, you are at the heart and soul of all we do. All told, despite the disruptions and unprecedented difficulties, Asian American business have shown that we can still pull together as a community, grow and make progress. The economic pie has gotten bigger. As we build back from the pandemic, there's a place for everyone in tomorrow's economy. The self-reliant attitude of Asian American business owners will enable them to achieve their American dream. Let's step up to the plate. Let innovation drive our economic resurgence. Allow our pioneering spirit and courage to light our path to secure an even brighter future. Surely, after all the hard work, innovation, technology, and the synergy, we will all be better for it. Because this is what America is all about. I wish you all good health, prosperity, and success in this new year. Thank you.